intensity rises. It does in the players, but I also feel it does in the crowd.
The Cowboys in the playoffs for the first time since the '93 season. Nate Burleson is back to receive. You've got Martin Gramatica, who was picked up in mid-year after they released Mike Vanderjagt, and the game is underway, and the kick will bound out of bounds at the 1, which means they'll get it at the 40. So a calculated gamble, because if it goes into the end zone,
Seattle's ball at 40-yard line.
It's a touchback. So Hasselbeck will start at the 40. An interesting little twist right at the outset. And Hasselbeck on first down. Throws. Wallace makes the catch.
Don't want to take the risk. You get in the playoffs, you say, what the heck?
2nd and 4 split backs, and that pass is broken up by their #1 draft choice, Bobby Carpenter, as we take a look at the Seattle offense.
Matt Hasselbeck, Boston College.
Sean Alexander, Alabama. Max Strong, Georgia.
Deion Branch, the University of Louisville.
Bobby Ingram, Penn State.
Jeremy Stevens, UW.
Walter Jones, Florida State.
Rob Sims, Ohio State University.
Chris Spencer, Ole Miss.
Chris Gray, Auburn.
Sean Locklear, NC State.
Jones, the perennial Pro Bowler, and on 3rd and 4, that pass is caught by Deion Branch.
Then they hit Deion Branch there on first down for a first down.
Aaron Glenn was covering on the play. Now Sean Alexander, last year's MVP and a rushing leader for a gain of 1. Here's the Dallas D.
Marcus Spears, Louisiana State. Jason Ferguson, Georgia.
Chris Canty, Virginia.
Bobby Carpenter, The Ohio State.
Brady James, LSU.
Aiken Adele, Purdue.
DeMarcus Ware, Troy.
Terrence Newman, Kansas State.
Roy Williams, Oklahoma.
Patrick Watkins, Florida State.
Anthony Henry, South Florida.
A defense that's been lit up over the last 4 weeks, and his movement up front, and you've got a false start against Seattle. Walter Jones was moving.
Number 71, offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
You see,
Is a tackle on that side.
2nd down and 14. They send Alexander in motion, and the pass is caught by Bobby Ingram, who gets inside the 20 to the 11-yard line. 36 on the receiving end of this pass.
You know, and he's just one of those guys that is a great inside slot receiver. You know, you get him in there in the slot, and he can run those possession-type passes, and I always thought Bobby Ingram was one of the best at that.
And there's Alexander taken down by Roy Williams, the safety. They empty the backfield with Alexander in motion on 2nd down and 8. That pass is caught by Deion Branch, and he's taken down at the 5-yard line by Brady James, the linebacker. He's in there on 3rd down and 3 from the 5. Williams changing sides defensively, and Hasselbeck's going to take a timeout. They'll talk it over. Alexander and Strong in the backfield. Alexander goes in motion. It's 3rd and 3 from the 5-yard line. And Hasselbeck throws, and the pass is broken up. Intended for Burleson, and that's Anthony Henry, who's been picked on a lot.
He gets that right arm in there to knock the ball down.
Josh Brown, 23-yard field goal attempt for maybe the most valuable of all the Seahawks this year. Outside Lambeau Field, now 8 years with Seattle. It's 3-0 Seahawks. The kickoff is fielded at the 1-yard line by Miles Austin. And Austin gets taken down up at the 25-yard line by Lance Laurie. Tony Romo coming out, and let's take a look at the Dallas offense.
Tony Romo, Eastern Illinois.
Julius Jones, Notre Dame.
Oliver Hoyt,
NC State.
Terrell Owens, Tennessee Chattanooga. Terry Glenn, The Ohio State University.
Jason Witten, Tennessee.
Flovell Adams, Michigan State.
Kyle Kozar, Arizona State.
Andre Gerard, Colorado.
Marco Rivera, Penn State. Mark Colombo, Boston College.
The entire season, no changes for the interior 5. Quite in contrast to Seattle. This is Jones picking up 4. Let's take a look at the Seattle defense.
Bryce Fisher, U.S. Air Force Academy.
Chuck Darby, South Carolina State.
Rocky Bernard, Texas A&M.
Grant Wistrom, Nebraska.
Leroy Hill, Clemson.
Lof Tatupu, USC.
Julian Peterson, Michigan State.
Jordan Babineau, Southern Arkansas.
Michael Bower, Florida State.
Ken Hamlin, Arkansas Razorbacks.
Kelly Jennings, the U.
We at 2nd down and 7 now. The Cowboys' second play is another run by Jones, and Jones picks up a first down as he takes it out to the 36 runs, gets them started. Romo, who's been starting since late October, that pass is thrown low, intended for Patrick Creighton.
They're going to play a lot of cover, too. You know, where both the corners are up, the safeties are off, and they have the middle linebacker playing way deep to 2
and 10. And the pass is caught, and this is Glenn, who dropped the last pass.
He'll do this to him all night.
18-yard gain. Now back to the ground. And Jones plows ahead.
Area has to control the middle of Seattle Seahawks defense, and they're doing it. 2nd
and 8, and they give it to Jones again. Just to frame what's going on with the Seattle secondary, they're minus their 1st, 2nd, and 4th corners. Trufant, a #1 pick in 03. Herndon was the guy who ran an interception back in the Super Bowl last year. And Jimmy Williams would have been their 4th guy. So Babineau now has to move from safety to corner. Jennings, as I say, goes from nickel back to the regular right cornerback. And Hunter gets off his couch and is in the playoffs.
And there he is right there. And again, this will be a zone-type coverage, I would expect.
3rd and 4. Romo in the pocket, then floats one, and it's incomplete, intended for Owens. So the first time they go to Owens, Jordan Babineau staying right with him, got a hand on it, and probably will the next time they have the ball. Matt McBriar had a phenomenal year, highest punting average in 43 seasons, but that one will bound into the end zone. Starting next Saturday from the 20 now. Seattle starts its second drive. Hasselbeck off the play fake. Had that one tipped, and it is intercepted at the 39-yard line. Picked off by Anthony Henry.
We talked about how they haven't been playing well, and we talked about how they haven't had a lot of confidence. They get a good pass rush there, make Hasselbeck throw it when he doesn't want to. Look at how that ball comes out of there. When it comes out like that, it's...
Ball at the 43-yard line. Romo goes right back to work to the left side. This is Owens. Owens breaks the tackle. Owens has a first down. Owens gets to the 29. Got away from Kelly Jennings from the 29 against the 4-man front. Jones will try to cut it back and runs into 4 Seahawks, including Darryl Tapp. 2nd and 11 from the 31. Screen. Jones. And cutting through to break it up is Julian Peterson, and a safety coming over to help out. Romo looking straight down the middle, then rolling left, directing traffic, throwing, and that's incomplete. Intended for Owens, who is set up at about the 11-yard line, covered there by the safety, Ken Hamlin. For the game, not really buffeting, maybe an 8 or 9 mile an hour wind, but a 50-yard attempt here for Gramatica. Picked up in the middle of the year, and the kick is good. Reversed, but we thank the folks at Safeco Field, right across the parking lot, the home of the Mariners. The kickoff comes to the 5-yard line. Nate Burleson will take it from there and bring it back to the 29-yard line. Played tight end for New England for 9 seasons. As Alexander around the left side takes it across the 30,
and he said that his mom was one of his favorite people, and Don Hasselbeck was one of his favorite players.
And that's Bobby Carpenter. And speaking of fathers and sons, Rob Carpenter is Bobby's father.
Bobby Carpenter is starting at the outside linebacker now, but eventually will be an inside linebacker.
On 3rd and 7, that pass is too tall, intended for DJ Hackett. The entire Seattle bench looks for a flag. Don't get one. Nathan Jones covering on the play.
Practice in 3 weeks. DJ Hackett, who just threw there, wasn't at practice and didn't practice that day on Thursday.
The rookie punter Ryan Plackemyers had a good year. This one's fielded at the 24-yard line by Terrence Newman. He takes it back to the 41-yard line. Last week, Detroit. From the 41, Jones to the outside this time. First time he's not run through the middle. Rocky Bernard, number 99, makes the stop. Especially working against the fast-paced and glued together secondary. And a false start here.
False start, number 76. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
2nd and 13. Romo to the outside and low and short. Intended for Glenn. Kelly Jennings with the coverage on that play.
But the Seahawks are in their nickel or 5 defensive backs.
They rush only 3, and then Romo throws into a lot of traffic, and then Witten comes up with the ball, and they're going to rule it a fumble. And a recovery by Seattle. Pete Hunter winds up with the football. Fumbles it away.
You're going to see Witten right here. He's the inside receiver on a slot. He comes under there, has control right there. Gets a pretty good hit by Michael Boulware. Number 28 hits him, knocks the ball out right there. And Pete Hunter in that sandwich.
Yes, he did. 1st and 10. Here's Alexander, and he gets taken down, and that's Bobby Carpenter, who's been a force here. There's a wagon circling mentality sometimes defensively. Just ask the Colts today. Here's Morris carrying to the 50-yard line. 3rd down and 1 now from the Dallas 49-yard line. They give it to Alexander. He cuts it back and picks up the 1st down. Brady James makes the tackle as we 6 games because of the broken foot, running behind an offensive line that keeps changing week to week. Here's Alexander. Remember, 16 regular season games. The Seahawks had 8 different starting combinations along that interior front, as opposed to the Dallas Cowboys, who started the same 5 in every game. Only 1 Seattle offensive lineman started every game, and he goes to the Pro Bowl every year, Walter Jones.
Yeah, and of course, you know, he's beat up too. I mean, it's not, well, every player in the NFL that's played an entire season is beat up now, but you know, he has a bad ankle and a bad shoulder. And you know, when I watch film, I just get mesmerized by watching this guy. I mean, he's one of the best today, and he's one of the best I've ever seen.
Chicago or New Orleans. Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrew Kramer. We start the 2nd quarter with a 2nd and 8. Hasselbeck airing it out, and Jackson is there. Aaron Glenn covering on the play, and it's incomplete.
Then the quarterback can throw it over your outside shoulder.
3rd down and 8. Hasselbeck under pressure. Gets away. Rolling and looking and coming back the other way and looking for anybody, and the pass thrown away. DeMarcus Ware put the heat on. He was able to escape him.
Now I just got to throw this thing away.
Blackermeyer, one of the few punters who has been drafted, picked in the 7th round out of Wake Forest, and fair caught at the 8-yard line by Patrick Creighton. As they take over deep in their own territory from the 8-yard line, they begin on the ground. Jones played his college ball at Notre Dame. 4 completions for Romo to 4 different receivers. On 2nd and 7, Romo throws, and that pass is underthrown because of the pressure intended for the fullback, Oliver Hoyt. Russell Davis, the tackle, put the heat on Romo. 7, and it's been effective for the defenses over the past month. Romo stepping up, throwing, moving forward, and it's Terrell Owens not making the catch. Incomplete is the call.
He has to settle down. I'm sorry.
Matt McBriar from Australia, played his college football at Hawaii, led the league in punting, booms this one into the night sky, and it's dropped out of bounds at the 34-yard line by Nate Burleson on the Giants, and that will determine where the winner of this game will go as Hasselbeck throws, and that pass is caught by Deion Branch.
I mean, you know, Tony Romo, you know, his balls are going all over the place, and Hasselbeck doesn't look like he has this thing going yet.
But Alexander does with this run across the 50. 1st down. Anthony Henry makes the tackle.
Will play, and a defender will get off and make a tackle. You don't get off Walter Jones.
Hasselbeck protected well, and that pass is not caught by Deion Branch. He'd gotten away momentarily from Henry against Dallas into the right. 2nd down and 10. Hasselbeck throwing to the right side, and Ingram makes the catch. And Aaron Glenn makes the tackle, and that will be a 1st down.
Detroit did it to him, and now it looks like Seattle is starting to confuse him.
This is Alexander running through the middle, and he gets taken down by Brady James, and the big space heater in the middle, Jason Ferguson. Now they try to put the finger in the dike. 2nd down and 10 from the 38-yard line, and that would have been a pretty good finger in a dike, but Carpenter couldn't hold on to it. Mad at himself for not having what he felt was an easy pick. 3rd and 10 now at the 37. And Hasselbeck's going to take Seattle's 2nd timeout. 38-yard line. DJ Hackett is split to the left. Hasselbeck stepping up away from the pressure, and the pass is incomplete. And everybody looking for a flag, and they will get one. Jeremy Stevens, the intended receiver. Kevin Burnett. Walt Anderson is the ref.
Holding, number 57, defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 1st down.
You're going to see Kevin Burnett is a linebacker, 57 here, and you see him grab Jeremy Stevens right there. So that was, you know, they could have called pass interference, so too. I mean, it was holding, but now when the ball's in the air, that should become pass.
Hasselbeck will hand the ball to Alexander. Last year's league MVP.
All that end zone, and he would run over most things in his way.
Play fake to him. Hasselbeck throwing, and that one will wind up out of the end zone. Hackett with the leap. Newman with the coverage on the play. Didn't know about Bobby Jackson. They activated him today. 3rd down and 5 now from the 27-yard line. Hasselbeck, he's going to take off, but he won't get the 1st down as he is hit by James, and you're going to get a flag back in the secondary at the 9-yard line for a hold against Dallas, and that's an automatic 1st down.
Yeah, you can just see Roy Williams there in the frustration.
Number 33, defense. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Nathan Jones.
And he's playing on the slot right here. He's playing against Bobby Ingram. And you see him right there that, I don't know, he had that left hand on his shoulder kind of all the way. He gets a hit by the linebacker there. And the big thing was for 5 yards, remember, you can't touch it.
Now from the 18. Alexander for a tough 3.
Not so much this year.
No backs here on 2nd down and 7. Hasselbeck throwing to the end zone, and Newman got his hands on it to bat it away. Newman had perfect position. Busts up the play. 3rd down and 7. The pass intended for Bobby Ingram. Max Strong is the setback. They give it to him on a draw, and the fullback who normally blocks catches a lot of balls, though, and has been.
Don't know that you have to run Max Strong on a draw on that play.
30-yard attempt. Plakemeyer puts it down. Brown splits the uprights. Exactly right, yeah. And then there's fresh Frozen, otherwise known as Frozen. Here's the kick. Taken at the 3-yard line. Nathan Jones is back there to the 27-yard line. And what Mount Everest to Death Valley and back and forth all season long. Here's Romo. And Romo will get sacked at the 18, and it was up. Bryce Fisher with the sack. 2nd down and 17 from the 19-yard line. They run a draw to Jones. And Julius, the brother of Thomas Jones, done now on 3rd down and 13. Romo pressured again. Throws on the run, and the pass is incomplete. Moving forward, trying to hit Patrick Creighton, and again, that's
so far they've done an excellent job at that.
Matt McBriar. Good angle kick, and that one will go out of bounds. Burleson was back there, and they will mark that one somewhere around the 35-yard line. That's exactly where they will. 2007 season. From the 35-yard line, Hasselbeck throwing, caught out in the flat by Max Strong to the 41. Tackle there by Aiken Adele.
In the slot and let him run those deep ends across and back.
2nd and 4. Alexander's going to come back this way, and that's a great tackle. Bobby Carpenter playing sparingly through the early part of the season. Al Singleton was the starter.
You kind of have to, as you go down the line of scrimmage, keep your leverage.
This is a 3rd and 9. Hasselbeck throwing incomplete, intended for Darrell Jackson, covered on the play by Nathan Jones. He's averaging a little more than 4 yards per attempt. Plakemeyer to punt. He angles this kick. And Newman will let it bounce, and that one will go out of bounds. They'll mark it near the 25-yard line. Put 24-yard line on first down. Fake to Jones. Pass, right side. That's caught. Terry Glenn makes the catch.
I'm impressed with this Seattle Seahawks secondary, and they're really reacting well to the ball in the air.
Here's Jones, and Darby's going to force him back, and we'll see a forward progress, and that's in the first down. It appears that will be the case.
Neither one of those guys have taken this game over.
First and 10, 35-yard line. Here's Owens, and this play was whistled dead before the snap because a timeout had been taken by the Dallas Cowboys. So Bill Parcells is going to argue that call, but I believe it was the line judge who called a timeout. Any of the officials can call it, and of course any of the players or the coach could call the timeout. And Parcells clearly wants to know what that was all about.
We were attempting to reset the play clock for 25 seconds. It did not reset. There's not a charged timeout against Dallas. First.
Bill went off.
Yeah.
But Walt Anderson came in and got it corrected. First and 10, and now Jones will gain 8 yards. Jones has carried 10 times. Barber's been in the game but has not carried the ball to this point. Jones following Hoyt, but here comes Peterson to bust through and knock him back, and Jones said that's enough and looks for a flag, and there is none. Play clock all the way down to a half a second. Romo gets it away, and it's caught over the middle by Creighton, the number 3 wide receiver, and he converts and takes it to the Seattle 43 for a first down, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. All 3 timeouts for Dallas. They're down by 3. Glenn goes in motion to the right. They're faking to Barber, and then Barber will take the pass, and Barber will get taken down by Tapp.
That one, that hook in the middle where he hit him and he fumbled, that is still there.
Instead, they give it to Barber, and Barber will take it to the 35-yard line. And for Gramatica. Play clock all the way down to 1. Romo will throw, and that's dropped by Owens. It's an unofficial stat, but our Elias Bureau keeps them, and they do a great job of that. But throughout the season, 15 dropped passes by Owens, about 1 per game. And Parcells going to take a timeout here. Now the Cowboys will line up to go for it. Still going to give them a chance in the midfield, so at least the Cowboys will line up to attempt to get a first down. Out of the shotgun. From the 36. Romo has time. Over the middle. Caught. Finds the open man. And that is Jason Witten. And he'll make it first down and goal. And the clock ticking down to 27 seconds. The Cowboys have 2 timeouts. They'll take one here. 32 yards on a 4th and 2.
This wouldn't be a bad play-action pass down.
It is to this point. Fake to Barber. Romo will throw. There's a flag, and he throws that one out of the end zone. There's a flag down at the 9-yard line. 18 seconds. Walt Anderson, the ref.
Holding number 75. Offense. 10-yard penalty. It's still first down.
That's Mark Colombo. 3-by-1 on first and goal from the 13. Romo stepping up, throwing, and that's going to be caught, and reaching into the end zone and getting there is Patrick Creighton for the touchdown. Patrick
catches that ball and then works like that. Here he is. He's a middle receiver here. You see they go deep. He just comes underneath, and then he comes under control. It's his own defense. He finds a hole and just waits there for Tony Romo to throw him the ball.
Romo got whacked on the play as well. He stays in the hold. Gramatica for the point after. Wide receiver, of course, when you play with Owens and Glenn, nobody knows who you are. They know him right now here in Seattle because he scored the only touchdown of the game. This is Burleson to run the kickback out to the 33-yard line. Clock is down to 5 seconds. Defensive half. Neither team able to get much going. The numbers are not pretty. 7 out of 19 there. Alexander has been bottled up. Had 1 decent run. Tony Romo, until that last pass, had completed less than 50%. Owens has been limited to that 1 catch. But the big play was that 4th and 2 Seattle will take a knee here, a kneel down by Hasselbeck. And that will be the end of the half. And back we come to Seattle. Al Michaels with John Madden and Andrea Kramer. Third quarter about to begin. Tony Romo connecting with Jason Witten for a huge play on a 4th and 2. Then after a penalty, the touchdown pass to Creighton. It's the only touchdown in the game. And Dallas will get the ball as we start the third quarter. Austin will drop it in the end zone, and they'll start from the 20-yard line. Offensive numbers not particularly pretty, of course, when there are only 16 points in the game. Definitely. And you saw Parcells, and few people know how to close out a game better than Bill. But Romo then gets stripped of the ball and is saved by Jones, and that was Bryce Fisher. And it was Fisher who whacked Romo at the end of the first half. And Tony came up a little gingerly after that play, and he gets hit again by Fisher. Broken clock. Now you've got Jones to try to get a little breathing space as they're backed up.
They're kind of an underdog. You know, playing with, rookie corner, a safety at corner, but they're playing very well.
3-man rush and 8 covering. Barber makes the catch.
And they say, what the heck were you doing in that prevent defense?
Matt McBriar, a wobbler, fielded at the 39-yard line by Nate Burleson, and he gets wrapped up immediately by number 57, Kevin Burnett. From the 38-yard line, Hasselbeck has that one knocked into the air and incomplete. Let's check. Light rain right now, second down and 10 from the 38-yard line. Hasselbeck goes back to the right side, and Newman with the coverage, and a flag comes in. Bobby Ingram, the receiver.
I was thinking that the Cowboys were playing so much man coverage.
Defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
That call there is on number 41 right there, Terrence Newman. You see, and he's looking back in at the quarterback. He's okay right there, and it was a double move. See, Bobby Ingram started to go by him.
First and 10 at the 43-yard line. Alexander stopping and then starting back the other way, and then driven back by half the defense.
Tonight, he's not the same guy he was a year ago, is what I mean.
Yeah, definitely not tonight. 12 carries, 32 yards. Hasselbeck steps up to avoid the sack and then guns it over the middle to Jeremy Stevens, the tight end, to the 40-yard line.
Cowboys did on that defense. You see, they're in a 4-man line, and they're trying to get pressure right up the middle. They do get that pressure up the middle. Had a line just to get that pressure right in the middle against Hasselbeck.
And then right into that line goes Mac Strong for a gain of 4. Paid off, obviously, back in '97 at a Florida State second down and 5. Hasselbeck is chased, has to throw on the run, and then Hackett comes up with it. Throwing to avoid the pressure from Carpenter, and Hackett came back to make the catch.
Game tonight, and I think he's the linebacker that Bill Parcells thought when he drafted him, but look at that catch by DJ Hackett. I mean, that ball isn't what Hassel
sinker.
Look at number 3.
3rd and 1. Plowing ahead right now is Strong. And let's see where they mark this. You can see where the yellow line is, obviously. And it appears to be a little short. Walt Anderson is going to bring the chains in.
You're going to have to take one, because this is going to be a 4th down. Woo.
Yep. A link.
Yeah, like
half a link.
Credit card. You could just stick a credit card in there. You know, it's an old thing that used to key as a defensive player or coach. The longer they spend in the huddle, the more apt the play is to be a pass.
They give it to Alexander, and he will be able to bounce his way off defenders for a first down.
Alexander hit the hitter.
Strong took care of Roy Williams on the play. Maurice Morris, the backup to Sean Alexander.
Quicker than any coach.
2nd and 4. Alexander appears to be a little short through the 3rd quarter. The workhorse again. But this time Brady James is there. And the forward progress will be looked at very carefully by the officials here as they'll spot the ball. The yellow line, you know, is unofficial, but that's going to be short of the first down again.
They just are playing that kind of game. I mean, I think that if this were the Cowboys, I think they'd do the same thing, and I think that Mike Holmgren is just matching them.
Going again on 4th down.
Yeah, they're packed in there.
Alexander to the left side. Gets enough around the corner. Carpenter was there, but Alexander with enough momentum to take him around the corner and pick up the first down.
Packed in the middle there. There was no way they were going to run the ball in the middle and make a first down.
This is the 12th play of the drive, and it's caught by Stevens. Touchdown, Seahawks.
It's a safety. You're going to see Jeremy Stevens is right here. You're going to see he's running right up there on Roy Williams. He makes a move on him, gets a step or two, and Hasselbeck puts the ball right there.
The bugaboo with him has always been dropped passes. That one he corrals, takes it in for 6. Crushed field. Seattle. Julian Peterson ready to come on with his defense. Kickoff from Brown, taken by Miles Austin from the 7. Miles Austin with a big run back down the sideline, out in front of the Cowboy bench, and Miles Austin will take it all the way in for a 93-yard kickoff return touchdown.
No flags. We talk about momentum changers. Here's a wedge. You slide the wedge to the left. They because the ball goes to the left, they slide the wedge. He gets right in behind the wedge and hits that thing. But you always have that wedge is in the middle, but when the ball is kicked left or right, you slide the wedge to the side of the kick.
Grammatica lining up for the extra point.
False start, number 77, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Cowboys in postseason play. Grammatica tacks on the extra point. Jersey guys. Free agent, and right now, the biggest play of the game.
Right, and Bill Parcells probably loves him a little more right now.
Yes, he does. A lot more than the 3 times he fumbled on kickoff returns this season. Leave, which he did, to go to the Jets. 3 years there. Hasselbeck throws, and it's Stevens up to the 32. So
if he feels like it, you know, because he talks about energy a lot. You know, I mean, I have to have the energy to go through it again, and I think that I do.
Simple answer involving a complex guy. Bill doesn't know as of the moment. 3rd down and 4. And that pass is caught by Deion Branch, who breaks away from Henry and turns it into a big gain.
Zone coverage, and they were running zone patterns against man-to-man. Now they're running man-to-man patterns.
Hackett has to reach behind to make the catch and
play in the game with these guys.
2nd down and 6. Sean Alexander. Ware forces him back inside, and then Aiken Adele is there to make the tackle. They're missing Greg Ellis on injured reserve. Apart from that, this team has been unbelievably healthy this season. And that pass is almost intercepted. Intended for Burleson, and Aaron Glenn, the 13-year veteran, former Jet, had position and almost makes the pick. And what else are you going to call him? It's like saying big tight end as opposed to what? A tiny tight end? Fair catch is called for by Creighton, and he makes that at the 7-yard line. 2 in this half. You had the run back for the touchdown after a 3-and-out on their first series. And they begin here with Jones taking it up to the 8-yard line. And Creighton, who scored the touchdown, is the man in motion, slotting left. Flip it out to Jones. Julius Jones taken down by Jordan Babineau. Crowd is roaring. Romo is going to flip it to Barber. And Barber is going to get enough for the first down before he's dumped out of bounds by Pete Hunter of the 3rd quarter. Al Johnson lines up as a tight end on the right side. Jones to the left side, and Jones gets taken down. after a very short gain by Ken Hamlin. And then the two of them start to go at it.
We got a rumble there.
Yeah, I mean, something had to be said.
Yeah, but you can't do that. I mean, okay, that's enough. Now you're calm down, get back in the huddle. I mean, no matter what was said or what was done, I mean, this is pro football. This is a playoff game, and you have to drop it right there.
Maybe a little kick as well. I mean, Hamlin is there. 2nd down and 8. And that pass is thrown at the feet of Jones.
Defenses, this area right in here is the area to hit for a 1st down.
Witten's going there right now, and Romo's going to go over the middle, but to Barber, and it's incomplete. Barber looking upfield. So the 4th quarter will start with a Dallas punt. End of 3. Highest since Yale Larry of Detroit in 63. And he closed in on Sammy Baugh's all-time record of 51 yards back in 1940. A boomer here. Burleson from the 19-yard line gets a block and then gets ripped out of bounds up at the 32 by Kevin Burnett. So
to get to the playoffs, and then you get to the playoffs to get to the next round, and to get to the championship round, then to get to the Super Bowl and win it.
Hasselbeck has that one tipped by Newman, and then Roy Williams with the pick, and he stayed inbounds and intercepts it at the 43-yard line. It's a tip and a catch, and the question is, did he come inbounds? And they're going to take a real close look at this. The crowd already looking at it up on the board.
Well, Terrence Newman made a heck of a play, though, in getting turned, getting back in coverage, and then turning again to get that right hand on it. Now, again, Roy Williams catches a ball, but did that right foot step out of bounds?
He's the same as a receiver at this point. The same thing applies. It looks as if his right foot's on the line, and this is going to be clearly a challenge from Mike Holmgren. Challenge flag, and now finally Mike throws it out. He just wanted to make sure. Checked with the guys upstairs. They played it on the board here, and it was very evident.
Seattle is
to
challenging
these
the
fans.
ruling on the field of an interception.
It appears that it won't stand because what Williams has to do is come down with both feet inbound. Williams, and this is the best shot, believe it or not, from the all-22 camera up above. Left foot down. He has possession. Right foot appears to be down.
I thought the same thing before we went to break. I thought he was on the line.
After the play,
After
the ruling on the field stands.
Yeah.
The Seattle is charged with its 1st timeout.
A super defensive play.
2 Pro Bowlers, 2 guys who've been to Honolulu in the past. Romo from the 48-yard line. A flag is thrown. That catch is made by Jones over the middle.
Illegal hands to the face, number 63, offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. It's still 1st down.
Those are the left guard.
The field is where you can go.
1st down and 20. Romo throws, caught over the middle. That's Glenn. Terry Glenn silencing the crowd out to the 49. Gain of 16, tackled by the linebacker Julian Peterson. Straight down the field, and then Glenn cut back over the middle. 2nd down and 4. Big hole, 1st down. Jones tackled by Lofa Tutupu. 13 minutes left in the 4th. Jones, 1st down, 20 more. All the way to the 27-yard line. From the 27-yard line. They keep going to Jones, and now you've got a flag from the umpire, and that's going to be offensive holding.
Oh, and then you'd expect to see Marion Barber.
Number 91, defense.
Whoa.
5-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
Just going to say, well, the draw. Jones. And Jones to the 13-yard line. And
a big game. It's going to come down to you have to be able to run it and stop the run.
To the 11-yard line. And the time it means anything is after Labor Day.
Please reset the game clock to 11:13. 11:13, please.
This will be a little short of the 1st down with a 3rd down play upcoming. The tailback gets it and comes up short.
Do what the Cowboys are doing now. Big play for Seattle.
29-yard attempt for Gramatica. And that one is good. A little bit of a screwball. Matica to kick off. Burleson to run it back. From the 4. Out to the 27. Austin making the stop. Seattle, Washington. 1st and 10. This drive begins with a 2-yard pickup by Sean Alexander. Branch, Ingram, and Burleson are their receivers. And of course, they could go to Seneca Wallace from time to time as well, as he did on the first play of the game. And that's Bobby Ingram making the catch over the middle at the 40-yard line for a 1st down.
It plays right in that position where he can go in or out.
Team 11. Hasselbeck throwing, and there he is again. Coming out of the slot, going across the field, and Terrence Newman covering on the play. Williams knocks him down, but not until he gains 30 yards.
This is what it looks like if you're Matt Hasselbeck. You're going to see Bobby Ingram coming from the left, coming across, and he just leads him perfectly right over Terrence Newman. That was a perfect pass. I mean, he put it where Bobby Ingram could get it, and Terrence Newman couldn't.
From the 30, Hasselbeck going deep, and double coverage that time on Burleson. And Tony Parrish with Newman covering on the play. It's an uncatchable
pass interference, number 41, defense. 1st down at the 1-yard line.
Calling it on Newman, and you look at Parcells, and he said, no, it was over his head. 28-yard penalty.
Here's Newman right there. He grabbed his arm and
definitely a catchable ball. 1st and goal now. Alexander swings to the outside, and Ware takes him out. Huge play. 2nd down and goal from the 8-yard line. Hasselbeck throws incomplete, intended for Ingram, but the pressure was put on by Marcus Spears. 3rd down and goal now from the 8. They empty the backfield. Alexander in motion. Hasselbeck throws. Caught 1-yard line, but that's Jeremy Stevens. So they're at about the 1.5. Mike Holmgren, 3 points, makes it a 4-point game. What do you do?
I mean, I can see what Mike Holmgren is already going to do. He's going to go for it. So if you say that he ought to kick it, you'd be second guessing. And, you know, he's going for the win right here. I mean, back when I was coaching, I would have kicked it, but then he's going for the win.
4th and goal from the 2. It's been a game of big 4th down plays. And this time it's a defensive 4th down play. Will Heller, a tight end who they haven't thrown to. Hasselbeck wants a penalty for forcing him out of bounds, but they'll turn it over on downs. A look at a frustrated Matt Hasselbeck who couldn't convert on a 4th down. It was 1st and goal from the 1 after the interference, and then Ware made that big play, and the next thing you know, Dallas has the ball, and the pass out here to Glenn, and Glenn's going to lose the ball, but is it going to be saved before it goes out of bounds? And they're going to say yes for a touchdown. Kelly Jennings knocked the ball loose. Michael Boulware winds up with it. Inbounds and recovered inbounds. Here's Glenn. Play is still alive.
Yeah,
then
right.
He gets hit.
Okay, now does someone go out of bounds before it gets to the end zone?
Is a catch and a fumble recovered in the end zone by Seattle for a touchdown.
All right, so Jennings creates the fumble. Now watch this. The ball appears to be out of bounds. It's Tatupo who leaps over Peterson, and then Boulware, does he have possession? Is he stepping out of bounds? So you have 100 things that Parcells can ask to look at. They will challenge.
Whoa. Oh, we're talking.
The ruling on the field of a touchdown.
So the ball is still alive. Jennings then creates the fumble. Now the ball is alive. Now what's going to happen here is that Peterson is going to come in. Peterson is inbounds. Tatupo is going to go over Peterson. But here's why this play is going to get overturned. It's very simple. Right there, Tatupo, as he is able to get the ball back into the end zone, has his foot on the line. Here's Walt Anderson.
After reviewing the play, Seattle, number 51, his left foot is touching the sideline when he contacts the ball. This puts the ball out of bounds behind the goal line. It is a safety. Dallas is not charged with a timeout.
And you got to mix and match with the Seattle special teams because of all of the injuries. Bob Pasulo's unit. 31-yard line. Nate Burleson will field it there after the McBriar free kick. Hurd's going to run him down. Nate Jones will run him down, and they'll run him out of bounds at the 50-yard line. So
I think you take your time. I still think you have good mixture, run the ball, those kinds of things.
Hasselbeck over the middle, and that's caught by the fullback, Max Strong. The 44-yard line, Aiken Adell, the linebacker, in on the hit.
When it would play the Cowboy defense, every fullback would be an all-pro.
Those New Orleans and Atlanta games in particular. And Carney with 3 touchdowns. 3rd and 1. Alexander slips a would-be tackle in the backfield. That was Roy Williams, who came flying in, tried to upend him by the ankles. He couldn't. Alexander able to slip by him, pick up the first down, and you see the frustration on Williams' face. They empty the backfield on first down with 4.5 to go. Hasselbeck. Deep over the middle. Stevens, touchdown. Jeremy Stevens to put Seattle back up on top, and they'll go for 2 over Roy Williams.
Those Cowboys is big plays in the passing game against their defense. One linebacker bumps them, another linebacker bumps them, and they just hit it right down in that cover 2, right in the zone. They just hit it over the linebackers and in front of the safety. Brady James is a middle linebacker. He was trying to run with him. He has to get deep in that cover 2. You have 2 safeties, and he just hit Jeremy Stevens right between the safeties and over the linebackers.
So they'll go for 2 to try to make it a 3-point game so that a field goal would only tie it and not potentially win it. Alexander is the back. Burleson comes in motion. Hasselbeck looking to convert. Rolling away. Can't get away from where. Throws up a prayer. Knocked out of the end zone. I was thinking of that Perry Como song. The bluest skies I've ever seen are in Seattle. Get a couple of sun breaks this week. Not many. From the 9-yard line, Miles Austin. Because you and I are the only guys from the 28-yard line on first down. That pass is caught by Creighton. And Creighton will pick up 11 to the 39-yard line.
The first playoff game.
Jones, 43-yard line. Grant Wistrom making the tackle.
They made the Cowboys go inside.
2nd and 7. Romo to the outside, and that's caught by Owens. Draw. Big hole exploited by Jones inside the 20. Hamlin finally rides him down at the 11-yard line.
So there's no one in here. And once you break this, you're going to run it to the safety. And the safety's 20 yards back there. Boy, that is as close to a gimme run as you can get.
And another benefit to Dallas on that is that he was tackled inbounds. So now the clock starts working against Seattle because Dallas clearly in field goal range. You have to start thinking about when you have to come from behind again. So they give it to Jones, and you can see that Parcells said there was a moment in between plays when we were doing the replay. You could tell him just the way his body language was expressed. Take your time.
This is the 2-minute warning.
We come to the 2-minute warning. Dallas has 3 timeouts, but more importantly, Seattle has 2. That is a key question. Jones is cramping up, so he's on the sideline. Barber's in the back. They give it to Barber. Barber tries to find some room, takes it to the 8. Seattle's going to have to take a timeout here defensively, and they do. Now, they'd already used 1, so that's their 2nd. Seattle lost one of its timeouts on the unsuccessful challenge. Romo spins, throws, caught, Witten, but he's going to be tackled at the 1. Is it going to be a first down is the question. Take a look at the official's foot. Appears to be over the yellow line. It will be a first down. Gigantic play right there. They don't get the touchdown, but they get the first down. Seattle is now down to its last timeout, and in effect, Dallas is going to be able to take it down to 0.
Bill Parcells pulled at Boise State. You know, he was saying that the other night that he'd watched that game, and he said, well, wasn't that something the way that coach did? I mean, he went for 2, and I think that Bill Parcells came into this game knowing and thinking that he was going to roll the dice.
And you know what Mike Holmgren's thinking right now? Let him score. The only chance Seattle has, they're going to review this spot, by the way, not challengeable with inside 2 minutes, but upstairs in the booth they're going to look at it. Now, meanwhile, take a look at this. They're going to see exactly where the spot is. Witten makes the catch. Yellow line unofficial. His forward progress appears, from that angle anyway, to be over the yellow line.
I don't know. It's very close, though. I mean, it doesn't look like that ball. Again, it's where the ball is. The ball has to cross. Again, that yellow line being unofficial.
I don't know where you put the ball here.
The receiver's forward progress was stopped at the 1.5. It's 4th down.
Yeah,
wow.
4th down, yeah. Because he had to get to the 1, and the 1.5 is 4th. And now Bill Parcells is going to have to kick that field goal. Did you think it passed the 1?
It looked like more like the 1 1/4.
Oh, yeah. Well, as long as it's not, you know, the minus, or it's not the half.
Right.
As long as 1 and anything, it's not a 1st down.
So, if you're Parcells now, I mean, you're almost compelled to go for the field goal.
You have to kick the field goal.
Seattle had to take a timeout. Once the play was reviewed by Walt Anderson, the clock was going to start again, so Holmgren had to take the timeout. So Seattle is now out of timeouts. Now you have to try to take the lead here with Gramatica. In effect, a field goal the distance of an extra point. Then, with 1 minute and 19 seconds minus what this play takes, Seattle will get the ball, and all they will need is a field goal to win the game. And they've got the best clutch field goal kicker in America this year in Josh Brown. Meanwhile, here's Gramatica. Romo holds. 19-yard field goal attempt. Oh, it is fumbled by Romo, and then Romo's going to run to the end zone, and he's going to get tackled by Jordan Babineau. Amazing.
Unbelievable.
How crazy is this?
There is nothing automatic in football. Oh, the ball just slipped out of his hands. It was a good snap. And he went to put it down, and it just slipped. Jordan Babineau, big tackle there. How about Tutupu's tackle, though? On that 3rd down play.
Wow.
Your whole season comes down to that.
Amazing. And you know, one of the crazy things about this sport is that if you're a regular quarterback, you almost never are the holder. In fact, the only regular quarterback who started the season as a holder was Jake Plummer of Denver, who didn't wind up as the regular because Cutler took over. And one of the reasons Romo was the holder because he was the backup quarterback.
Number 68 is reporting as an eligible receiver. Number 68 is eligible.
So one of the things that might have happened had Romo started the season is he wouldn't have been the holder in the first place. But he is here. The mouthpiece comes out. And this is the way Dallas's season will most likely end unless there's some sort of a miracle finish here for the Cowboys. Hasselback from the 2-yard line. Dallas, however, has all of its timeouts. But Alexander is going to try to render that moot out to the 22-yard line. Tackled by Parrish. So Dallas still had all of its timeouts. Had they been able to hold them inside the 10 without a first down, and here's Alexander coming off shaken up, they would have had a chance to get the ball back.
Boy, did he explode on that play. But Sean Alexander with a lead block right there, running off his lead, wide open, making a burst. You know, he is really good with his off arm. Watch him, his ball's in the ball is in his right arm, but watch his left arm. I mean, the way that he just plays off would-be tacklers. Romo is thinking, what the heck? You know, going back to that shot. I mean, that third down play. You know, I say when you're going to take it, you have to throw it in the end zone. And when you throw it before the goal line, that can happen to you. And then this, I mean, this just has to be a nightmare here.
Oh, well, one of the reasons the Bengals don't get into the playoffs is what happens in Denver. When they're ready to tie the game and at least send it into overtime, and the extra point was missed.
You know, and that's the K ball there. You know, that's not the same ball that he uses as a quarterback.
Now Dallas is going to take a timeout. That's Maurice Morris carrying. Romo could still wind up with the ball in his hands because they can't run the clock out.
Well, he better get his head up.
Yeah, he better.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, his hand is bleeding, the left ring finger full of blood.
Yeah,
but his night might not be done.
No, and someone better tell them that, you know, and get him back in this thing, because, you know, he's over there, you know, kind of feeling bad about losing a game and kind of pouting. You got to get back up. And if there's any chance, I mean, you know, until someone, you know, shoots off the gun, the game's over. You're still playing. You can't get down. You can't give up. You can't say it's all over. Nothing is all over.
One more timeout for the Cowboys, which they'll take right here at the end of this play. Alexander comes back in.
Well, that's good news for Seahawks fans.
They give it to him. He'll get stopped. Timeout, Dallas. Their final. Okay, so now what you're going to have here is a play, and then they're going to run as much of the clock off as they can. Then they're going to be forced to punt, assuming it's fourth down. And then Romo should get the ball back with, he hopes, 10, 12, 15 seconds. Fourth quarter. Some key plays here. Hasselbeck, this was a 4th and 2 play as they passed up the opportunity for a field goal. Turned it over. Very next play, you had the fumble by Glenn. Seattle, for the moment, thought they had a touchdown. Turned out to be a safety. Then you had Stevens catching the pass from Hasselbeck over the middle. And then on what would have been the field goal to move them ahead, the botched hold by Romo can't get into the end zone. Seattle gets it back. Tony's got his helmet back on because somebody did tell him, John, you're probably coming back into the game.
Right. We still have a shot here. I mean, someone's telling him, you know, get up, get your head up, and we're going to get another shot at these guys. Because, as you said, there will be a timeout, then they'll let the clock. But with the punt, the clock does stop and change the possession, so they'll have, you know, time to get, you know, a good formation, a good play out there.
Dallas must stop him here. Here's Alexander around the left side. He doesn't want to go out of bounds. That's the last thing, out to the 29-yard line. So now you've got about, just looking at this, about 9 seconds difference between the play clock and the game clock. So you take it down to 1, then you punt, and then by the time you finish with the run back, you're down to, you hope, 1 Hail Mary if you're Dallas. There it is right there, about 7 seconds difference. And Seattle's going to take it all the way down. They don't have a timeout, so they're going to get a delay of game penalty as soon as it stops, which it will in 1 second. So now you're down to 8 on the clock.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
You know, if there were about 3 seconds here, you could just snap it and run, you know, have the punter run back and forth until the time's out. With 8 seconds, you can't do that.
No.
And again, you know, I mean, a safety could come in, you know, if you had more than a 2-point lead, but with a 1-point lead, that doesn't come into play here. So you have to punt the ball.
Everybody up on the line for Dallas. It's a low snap, and Plackemeier is able to dig it out, and then it winds up out of bounds, and there's going to be enough time for 1 play on the clock. The official will mark it off at the 50.
Previous meeting between these two teams a couple years ago. But at any rate, one last chance for Romo to win this game. A Hail Mary, a prayer for the Dallas Cowboys that is not
tip it
answered, and that is the way this NFC wildcard game finishes out. They put the Wild in the wild card.